Welcome. My name is Sean McCormick, and this is my Pecha Kucha presentation conducted for Technical Communications 205, Fall Quarter of 2018, under the expert direction of Professor Kate Crane at Eastern Washington University, located in Cheney, Washington. This presentation is set to transition to the next slide every 20 seconds from this point on. Again, my name is Sean McCormick. This is my photo. I'm a junior majoring in technical communications, and this video will be used for more than a course overview, but also to let my mother know how my class has excitedly progressed. Over the next few minutes, I'll share some of the information about the main point fundamentals, the class, the projects completed, and the challenges encountered. I will be discussing with you today in 20-second increments in order to keep the flow of this presentation moving quickly along. Each 20-second lapse of time should afford me to tell you about my project. So the overline here, we started with the group project, and then we're going to discover some of the process and the purposes and things that we discovered as well. For our group project, we got the opportunity to help contribute to iFixit. It's a company that focuses primarily on creating troubleshooting guides in order to reduce the amount of e-waste. A lot of electronics are simply thrown away now when they're not necessarily needed to, and iFixit is a place where we can go to find out how to repair those items. The first project was a group project where we worked with iFixit on improving an existing troubleshooting guide for the LG G3 mobile phone. Titled the LG G3 Mobile Phone Troubleshooting Guide, we hoped to extend the phone's longevity while averting premature disposal and thus increasing and adding to the e-waste. Another objective was for us to meld together as a team. Some of our group members were tasked with researching issues that would normally happen. They used the library and they also used search engines that were readily available. But as we all know, the countdown timer was going and we had a project to finish and to do it quickly. We worked collaboratively to create our guide and made our drafts. We also had weekly Zoom meetings to call into in order to receive insight into our upcoming deadlines. It was crucial that we broke the entire guide down into many different steps. Otherwise, everybody was going off in another direction. Our first grade helped us to pull together quickly. For this team project, it seemed that we were a group of 4 individuals. We did our best to coordinate the work with each other, but it was difficult. Everyone's schedules differed, and a few of us are better than communicating than others. Wink, wink, hint, hint. In the end, it all came together, though. Dr. Crane gave us advice, and then we were able to move on. This is one of the tools that we were using. This is called Kanban flow for project management, and it generated tasks and abilities for us to see what everyone was doing. The biggest takeaway from this project was that it was important for us to create a plan from the beginning. The second project I would like to discuss was the individual project, the fast fix. This is a fast fix is a repair on a common item that can be done quickly and isn't too extremely difficult. Boy, was my wife ready to help me with this one getting started. She had a list before I even had the details out for her. Initially, I had no idea what to do an iFixit project on, and I guess that was my mistake, was complaining to my wife. Thankfully, iFixit had a repair experience inventory. It was very helpful in getting the creative juices flowing, and I ran away from my wife as quick as I could before she had more ideas. For my fast fix, I chose to create a guide on how to replace the cabin air filter on the 2008 through 2013 Subaru Foresters. This was a direct response to another iFixit user who requested this exact procedure, and I was glad to answer. We each had a specific goal for this proposal to address the item we wanted to write the guide for. Why, what method we would use, why it was necessary, how much information was already on the internet, and etc. After sending this proposal to Dr. Crane and the iFixit tech team, we were able to move on to the next step, which was checkpoint 1. This first step was based off of the checklist that iFixit had produced. It basically really laid everything out simply for us to get started. And the first way was with great pictures. I have a Nikon and I love using it, so it was easy for me to get going on this. I took so many pictures that keeping it down to a few was my difficulty. And of course I threw out any revealing pictures and kept the photos that only showed my hands although I think my chin might have snuck into a photo or two. And by the way, I never took any sensual photos, by the way. Before turning in checkpoint 2, I had my daughter actually use the guide to do the service, which helped me make a few minor changes to the wording. But she did it by herself. I didn't even mention anything to her. All I did was hand her the draft print, and she executed it flawlessly. So I knew I was onto something. To finish the guide, we would send the last checkpoint off to Dr. Crane and the tech writing team to show them your final project and see if they had any suggestions. We even had peer feedback to incorporate into our guidelines and finally update or fix any errors that we may have incurred. So we had to revise. One of the challenges I did encounter was with lighting. The sun's rays were piercing. Thankfully, my son came out to hold the camera and help me run the extension cord. He also mounted the light up high on the ladder. I really wanted to have good pictures that showed the best steps. You can even see a little bit of my shadow in the light there. I was so excited moving along within my iFixit project. I had taken all the photos, marked them, ran the procedure, and then fired off an email to the iFixit staff. Oops. I had overlooked the bold lettering. Do not send yet. Thankfully, there was only a minor change needed. Staying on track with all the waymarks was definitely much easier with the teacher. This class has taught me many valuable lessons, especially when it comes to communications in a group setting. Having good communication skills is paramount. Maybe if we met in the beginning and in person, that might have helped us. Some people we found like text instead of email, and some people, well, it all just kind of came together in the end. In conclusion, this class has taught me how to better my interpersonal communication skills, how to improve my professional writing skills, and also how to craft usable instructions for another person to benefit. I was a little bit familiar with iFixit, but I was so excited to be a big part of their team.